Okay, so this week changed me a lot. And I was like, if I can do this if I really wanted to. I could place my faith in Jesus if I wanted to. And some calling just kind of pushed me to do it. And so I called Buddy and I said, Buddy, I'm ready to touch the rat trap. I prayed with Buddy and I placed my faith in Jesus. And Carol was there.
We're going to have a little bit different. The boys and girls are going to be staying with us in here because there's most of them can understand and appreciate what we're going to be doing. And I'm just going to tell some stories. We're going to tell stories. Now that didn't sound right, boys and girls. We are not going to be telling stories. We're going to be telling true things that happened. And I'm going to ask you when y'all stand up, if you got something to say, just say your first name so folks know who you are. And I'm going to sit up here, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of what we're doing, and then by event. And so this is when we left, we were sitting in the parking lot, and here we go to Kentucky. What was it? How many hours was it, David? Yeah.
It's a 7-hour drive time. Probably took us about 10 with all the stops.
Yeah, with all the stops. Every other exit, his truck needed gas. All right. So we got there on Friday, and on Saturday we did a block party on the streets of downtown Hazard, and did some pictures of it. We had both bounce houses. David Licks worked with us most of the time when we were with him pulling out his bounce. We lined them all up. Some of you that have seen our block parties just know this is what we do, and there's no surprises. Oh, but this has got a good story. We'll save that story in a minute. So anybody got anything about what happened on the street there? All right, go ahead. Stand in this. Oh, whoa. I'm sorry. We need the... All right, now, wait. I got one for the back row. Yes. Check. There you go. Hey. This was on Sunday.
Yeah. Downtown Hazard was Sunday night.
What was on Saturday? Oh, yeah. Yeah, raining. Never mind. This is Sunday night. Thank you. They sure do. Okay, you got a story on this one.
Okay, so my name's Will.
Stand up. Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, and this is my second mission trip, and this block party really got me because last year it was like the biggest one, and it was the one that was like really eye-opening for me. But this time it was actually really small. Like, it was a really small block party. We had some of the church, the local church there, and a few people come in and out. But the one person who really got me was there was this homeless lady who came before they blocked. Jennifer was her name. But before the block party even started, and we were eating pizza and just cutting up, setting up the tents and stuff. And she came and asked for pizza and just hung out with us. And she was also the last one to leave and told us all that she loved us. And, that was a good.
Yeah. I saw a guy go in there and take 4 pieces of pizzas and run with them. Yeah. I mean, down in the area, there are more homeless people on the street that we saw than it was not. All right, anything else that happened? Oh, yeah, there was.
So my name is Caitlin, and as we were finishing up loading up the trailer, I had to use the bathroom. And so I went in the church, and I used the bathroom, and I opened the door to the bathroom, and I thought, it's dark. Well, I got locked in the church. So I come around the corner, and there's like a set of steps and then the door. And above the door is a stained glass. and it was Jesus. And so I called Deanna, and I was like, Deanna, oh wait, no, she didn't answer, just kidding. Deanna's phone didn't work, so I had to call Hannah. And Hannah was like, hello, and I was like, Hannah, I'm locked in the church, and I don't want to open the door, I don't want to set off an alarm, I'm scared. And so she was like, hang on, I'm going to go find Buddy. And so I hear Hannah tell Buddy, she goes, Caitlin's locked at the church. And Buddy's like, Caitlin, hello? And I was like, Buddy, I'm in the church. And Buddy was like, which door? Because there were like 3. And I was like, that one, the furthest one. Because they were like all identical doors, so I couldn't like say which one. And so Buddy's like, hang on, I'm going to find somebody. And so I'm like sitting there on the steps just looking up at Jesus, and I'm like, let me out, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. And so this guy comes from around the back, and I hear somebody go, hello, and I was like, help me. And he was like, come this way, follow my voice. And I was like, I'm coming. And so that's the guy, that's my rescuer, his name is Rollin, and we took a picture.
I had to walk, see, that's taken to the sidewalk. I had to walk all the way behind that and found him hanging out. And I was so glad. I couldn't find I know there was doors that were that you get out on, but they were not the front doors. And the one I knew was behind a locked fence. So, and she was, I thought she was crying. I realized now she was half laughing and half crying. But that was good. I think I may have pictures of Hayden. We'll see. Okay. Morning worship each day. This actually didn't start till Monday morning, and it's the only picture. This was in the hotel room, and we met every day, had time of worship and Bible study, and with Tim preaching, and last day some testimony time. Anything on that? It was just every day. We're in the hotel. Oh, you had a good time in that room, though, didn't we? All right. This was Sunday morning, and so I thought the other one was Saturday, so that's why it's here. Sunday morning. This is Big Creek Church. This is one of the larger churches in the area, and we got a lot of stories on these folks. So we were there before Sunday school, and everybody went to Sunday school except for me. Of course, preachers, we just hung out. So anything you want to say about Sunday morning? Save the rest for later, but just Sunday morning being there. They had about 4 teenagers, and then we brought in all of ours. They had standing room only type.
I'm Carol. And it's just good to go back. This is the same church that we went to last year when we went on Sunday. And it's just good to go back and see some familiar faces. They were also, a couple of them were that came from Kentucky on a mission trip to here. And so they were all, and that worked on our house. Mm-hmm. And so it was like, how's the house? And, we were glad to be there. It was such a great trip and everything. So that was fun. It's always good to renew those friendships.
Yes. We certainly made some good, deepened relationships there. Okay, then this is Monday in Bulin, and this is interesting. I can't point. This is interesting because, all right, that's the church. You can see the little steeple there, and I mean little. And yes, it's about the size of a medium-sized house. And a trailer there with some folks that lived there. And this did not belong to the church. This was basically their parking lot, just what you see right there. And we had 1, 2, 3, 4 tents set up for the games. And we were waiting for them to get started. We were set up, and weather started moving in. All the radar was saying it's going to rain. And 10 minutes before we're supposed to start, we call it. And then I want to tell this because they set up 4 tents, no bounce, and got everything ready to go. 10 minutes before, I said, move all the games inside to the basement, tear down the tents, and let's go do it inside. And we set up down there. And I tell you what, this is one of the testimonies on this team as a whole, every one of you, is they did not blink They did not go, oh, we're just setting up. Not one time about any time, anywhere. It was just, okay, that's what's next. We'll do this without complaining. In fact, in a servant spirit, and this is just one of those opportunities we had to do this. But this picture is taken, as you can tell, the trailer is much bigger than it appears to be there. But it was up a pretty good hill on old railroad bed, and we got some more pictures from up there. But we had a good time hanging out with them. All right, do I have I got other pictures? Oh, yes, this is downstairs in the fellowship hall where we had the table game set up. That was half of it, and that was the other half of it. So when it was a mini inside block party, but we had fun in the worship center. I'm standing right here on this church. Okay, that's how small the church was. Okay. And there's other stories on that one. Okay. Anybody else got stories on that? The Montana one? Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Hannah. Okay, so at this church, we did the puppets, and Buddy was doing a magic show, and he called a girl up out of the crowd. Her name was Montana. You need to remember that because it's really funny. And so Buddy is doing his boo ball trick, and then the water, like, this is an illusion. One of these cups has water. Which one do you think it is? And he's like, it's an illusion. And this girl, she's like, I know there's water in that cup. It's on the floor. Or like, you just put a boo ball in my hand. She kept like calling him out and stuff. And her brother from the crowd was like, shut up, Montana. And then when she finally went and sat down, Buddy asked for like another volunteer. He's like, oh, I'll do it because I know how to shut my mouth. And but we were in the back doing puppets and we can't talk because we don't want to like ruin the like illusion for the kids. And we were laughing so hard. I thought I was gonna pass out, but I was just like trying so hard not to like belch, like laughing. It was so funny. You held to that so well. You did not. Okay, that's it.
She was a classic example of these people may not be well educated, but they are not stupid. I mean, she knew stuff was happening, and she didn't understand everything about it no more than you do. But she wasn't about to sit there and say, you can't fool me.
Hello, y'all. My name is David.
Oh, and tell them what church you're from.
Oakland Baptist Church over in Marion County. My wife and my 2 kids are here with us.
Yeah.
But to go along with that, I don't know if that girl's name is Montana. I was freaking out. But I don't know if y'all seen Buddy's mousetrap trick.
No.
It's
a rat trap. Don't you remember the line?
A rat trap. Don't touch it. Anyways, he invites the preacher to come up to participate with it, and that girl was freaking out about him touching a mousetrap. She thought he was gonna lose a finger, and she was just going bananas on that seat. Don't do it! Don't do it!
She was a hoot. She enjoyed the show, though, didn't she?
Oh, yeah.
That is her in the purple.
Yeah. Is that where?
Oh, yeah.
Purple on the left.
On the left.
That's Montana, y'all.
That is her right there.
That's her. Oh, yeah. She was going bananas.
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah.
She was a hoot. Oh, wait a minute. Second row with the makeup?
Yes.
Okay, that's her there. Okay.
She had face paint on.
Yeah. It's bigger over here to me. All right. But this was good church. This was where Bellwood was, and they put on a sure enough full-fledged, all stops pulled for VBS for them. They had an adult VBS class, and I went by there, and they had 5 or 6 of their folks in the adult VBS class, and Jim Morgan was one teaching that. So when you go in there, and this church is in the middle of nowhere, you just don't know what a blessing it is for us to be there to them and to us, very much so. Okay, this is Gorman Hollow, and remember what a holler is: one way in, one way out. And this is government housing or subsidized housing. I don't know. There's probably 40 or 50 units or more. And we did a good time here. Janelle, raise your hand, Janelle. She was amazing with the face painting, and she had good help. Who else helped her? Yeah, Addie helped her on that, and the kids loved it. And this was the magic show that was outside. We were a little bit concerned about rain, but it never did. And you can see that them having a good time with the puppets. I love the way people are looking at the puppets, and just like they're real people. They just do. Okay. This was sponsored by this lady right here. Tina, she had a burden for this project area. She has a granddaughter that lives in that project area. And this is Angie. She's like the youth minister. And these are Big Creek people, okay? So we were there helping Big Creek to reach this community. And this lady right here, did y'all ever meet her? What was her name?
Angie's mom. That's Angie's mom.
Oh, that's Angie's mom?
Yeah.
Here? No.
On the right.
No.
Not her.
Oh, yeah, that's Angie's
That's
mom.
Angie.
Yeah. No, this lady right here.
Yeah, she was taking photos the whole time.
She's the official photographer, okay? And you see she is dressed out for Sunday morning
Yes.
and walk around in that hot... Did y'all talk to her? She was fun. She was. I liked messing with her, and she just looked at me like, you're not messing with me. But anyway, anybody want to say anything about that block party? Okay, Sam?
I am Sam.
Yeah. Keep talking. Yeah, it will be. Keep talking.
Okay. So that picture, it doesn't really show much of the stage, but you can kind of see one of the puppets. This was the most stressful block party for us because we were in the grass, and it was the morning, and the grass was wet, and we were right in a bush, so the mosquitoes and the gnats and stuff were all over us. And it was the windiest day, so we were doing everything we can, getting all the sandbags and tire stops and backpacks and stuff to stop the stage from blowing over, because the wind was blowing straight through the stage. So everybody that wasn't doing a puppet was holding a curtain or a pole. And it was a blessing to have 9 teenagers and enough people from Big Creek that they could help. David put everything back in the trailer while we were all backstage. But again, it wasn't one where everybody was complaining like, why are we doing this? Or, it's just puppets. Why is this so important? So it was just a blessing.
Yes. Anybody else got one on this one?
So I'm Deanna, and it was hot and sweaty. I'm going to show you how hot it was. All the color came out of my shirt and stayed my whiteness. See, It was hot. But this was one of 3 events where Big Creek provided bicycles and flat screen TVs for door prizes. And there were so many people there, and when they got their prizes, they were so excited. And I remember the boy who got his bicycle here, he was a football player, and he didn't hear his name called because he was over at the food tent because he apparently could not get enough hot dogs. And I saw him take at least 3, and this is when we were closing down. So I think it just speaks to when they don't get as much food as they want. So for us to show up with food and everything's free, it's a big deal.
Carol, you got to tell them about your help on that one.
Oh, yeah.
Your helper.
Oh, okay. I'm Carol again. And I was in charge of registering people. And we wanted to register them because of the door prizes, but also it gave Big Creek an opportunity to reach out to those people afterwards. And I was all by myself because everybody had a job to do, and I was like, okay, so there were 71 people at this place, and that's a lot to try to fill out their name and address, especially for like 4 and 5 and 6-year-olds and everything. But anyway, this lady came over that had been sitting there the whole time. And she came over, she says, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Sure." And her name was Tammy. And she was the first one at the block party from the projects. And she came over and sat with me, and she knew everybody. So she didn't have a problem filling them out and taking care of that. And she just was under control. She knew exactly what to do. Even when I couldn't even talk and tell her what to do, she's reading my mind. She knew what to do. And then, and so she worked hard. And she was helping, we were putting them in adults and boys and girls, because they had a boys' bike, a girls' bike, and a big TV, plus they had a lot of other door prizes. And so then, at the end, guess who won the TV? It was Tammy. And I was really glad that she did, because she really worked hard. And she didn't stuff the ballot box. She may have a hard time telling her friends that, but she did not. So, because, I mean, we looked at them. And so, but anyway, I'm really glad she got to win the TV, because she worked hard.
Yeah, me and the preachers, when we pulled them all out, and that was the last name we pulled her out. And she was helping the kids the entire time. It was like, you're not going to believe this. And but it was a blessing to bless her in that way with that. And folks, they took the flat screen TV and the big prizes for the girls and boys. They took that model from us, and it worked up there. It worked up there better than it does for us. They stayed. They stayed for the show. That's for sure. Yes. Oh, okay, Aiden.
So at this block party, Mia had walked away from her game to go do something. I forgot what it was. But so I was running 2 games, and this kid comes over. His name was Skylar, and he says, I don't want to play any games anymore. Can I run this game? And I was like, sure. And I told him how to play it, and he just started running the game.
Cool. Go get you a hot dog.
Just to feed off of what Deanna was saying about food, I don't know if they all noticed, but adults from the apartments behind us were flooding out of there, coming over to get popcorn and food, even though they weren't even participating with the games and everything else. But when we got done, I don't know if anybody looked to the left when we were exiting, there was a food bank that was run by the church that we were not too far from. You actually see it in the background on that photo.
It's a different church.
It's a different church. But when we were leaving, there was cars backed up over a block and a half waiting to get food at that food bank. So these people are definitely, every single one that lives there is 100% dependent upon the government and the support of the community.
And that church, they reached out to that church to work with them. They were not uniquely Southern Baptist, but they're there in that community. But they just got through their vacation Bible school where they fed them every day and did all that. And so they were pretty much burnt out for the week. And so we were totally okay with them not being a part of it for that reason. We probably would have felt the same way. Monday, this is Mintz Creek. And this is where Misty and Rose Hill was. And we were under a shed there, which was great. And the best part about it, we didn't have to have a single tent to set up on this, because we were under here or against the wall where the shadows were. And they fed us good at this one. This was a good meal here. We had, 4 meals of hot dogs?
I think we ate hot dogs 3 times and pizza twice.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
And
That was chicken.
that was good chicken. I mean, it was good. This was also one of the larger churches that we were there, and we were able to spread everything out, had a great show. And anybody remember anything else about this one?
Yeah, me.
All right.
Okay, so I'm Hannah again. And so I was running the mini golf with the, mini golf. And there's this little baby. He could barely walk, and his name was Connor. And you have a bigger putter for the bigger kids, and you have a little one for the littler kids. And he came over and he was like, putt. And I was like, okay, go ahead. And I gave him the little one. He said, mm-mm. And he went and picked up the big one. And he kept trying to hit it, and I kept trying to adjust his little body so that way he knew how to. It wasn't working for him. So he would just run up onto the mini, the thing, and he'd throw the thing in there, and he'd take the big putter and slam it in the hole and be like, I did it! And he did it so many times, and I got a cute little picture with him, and he was just, he made my heart so happy to see him so excited to just slam that ball in there. It was the cutest thing ever.
This week, we're going to put some of these pictures, a whole bunch of these pictures on our Facebook family page, and that is definitely one of the pictures that's going to be on there, because you could tell both of y'all were having fun. Anything else about this one? Yeah, Cassie.
Okay, so my name's Cassie Ann, and
Closer.
And there was Connor, and he was running around the church and during the magic show, And then I think it was his grandfather or his dad. He was trying to get him over there. So I ran up and grabbed him, and I started distracting him so he can stay put. And his grandfather or dad was very thankful that I did it.
Oh, yeah, good job. This is also the church that one of the children there that I know looked like 6 or so that was extremely autistic and was just very disruptive. And the pastor and the mama tried to get him calmed down there in the show. Talking to the pastor later, that they are really trying to, and this is a grandson of one of the core members there. So they're really trying to work with him. They got special attention going to him as well. But gives you a little more patience even when it's disruptive, knowing that the church is really got a holistic approach toward it. So it's a good church, good church. Uh-oh, okay, one more.
Oops, I got the wrong one here.
Yep.
This is a church we went to last year, and they were doing VBS, but I remember the pastor from last year, and this year he said, well, how big can you be to get on the bouncy house? And he got in there and was bouncing with some of the kids. He was cool.
He was. He was a good man. He was a good man. Tim. Kelly. Kelly. All right, here's the Wednesday morning Senior Adult Center. We had a good time there. I don't know if I got another picture of this one or not. No, that's the only picture I got. But we sat around. I don't know how many of you know, but Rose Hill's lead, Misty, which is Luke Ekstrom's mother, had some AFib issues, and she's home now. At least they headed home. I have not heard different yesterday. But anyways, so we got there, and they were not there. So we just came in there. Some of them had, tell your card playing story.
Last year I sat down and played with some of the gentlemen. A game called Rook. I don't know if anybody's ever played it. It's sort of like spades or pinochle. We had fun last year. This year, knowing that Misty wasn't there, I just headed straight back, and I'm going to go play some cards. And those same gentlemen that were there last year are sitting there again. They remembered me from last year. I forgot how to play Rook, so we did a couple hands. But this time, I kind of figured everything out kind of early. And my partner, his name is Leslie. I think it's Leslie is his name. We got our butts spanked the first time around. It wasn't very pleasant. The second round, it was 405 to 495, and he played a 500, and we played the best hand possible on that one. There, it was great. Me and him just had a blast. Same thing with the other guys too. It was a great game of Rook for sure.
This one's all about relationships. We did Puppet at Magic Show, and we had a good time with it, but it's all about relationships. Zoe?
Okay, I'm Zoe. So last year when we came here, Rose Hill? Is it Rose Hill? Rose Hill was there, and we didn't really get time to sit down and talk with the senior citizens because we were setting up the puppet show, but I sat down with Annalise and Miss Deanna, and we played Phase 10 with Miss Karen and Miss Janet, because they were already playing, and I played up until we absolutely had to leave to go do puppets, and it was really fun.
So I sat at a table with Isaiah, Michael, and Cassianne, and there was a couple, a woman and a man, and we were just talking back and forth, and it kind of got quiet for a little bit, and we were just sitting there, and the woman out of nowhere, she looks at me, she's like, I think you have pretty hair. And I was like, thanks. And she said, but I don't really see that well, so it just kind of looks like a blob. And I was like, oh, thanks. So that was super cute. I thought she was adorable. I love my blob hair, so.
Oh, that was good.
So my name is Caitlin, and I originally had sat down with the card playing table with Phase 10, not Rook. And in the corner, I saw this guy alone, so I went and I sat at his table. And that was the famous basketball player. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, John.
Sounds good to me. But after a while, Addie and Aiden and Sam came and sat with us, and he just enjoyed talking about how he traveled playing basketball, and he's been everywhere. Like all 50 states, I'm willing to bet he's been there, and it was just really, really nice for him, I think, to be able to sit and talk with somebody.
His early NBA, NBA player, and he knew all the history and stuff like that. It's great. Okay,
I got one more quick one.
You be quick.
Okay, so I sat down with the girls. They played cards and I crocheted, and so it was nice to talk with the ladies because older ladies, they know a lot about crafts and such. So we talked yarn and crocheting.
Yeah, got another story on that coming up too. Okay. All right, Wednesday lunch we went to a really cool restaurant. And it was a sandwich shop, and I'm sure that we tripled her drawer that day because this was in downtown Hazard, and we just had a good time there, and played ping pong. David's not bad with ping pong, and so we had fun there. I was just going to mention that. Somebody stand up. It's the yellow shirt. Stand up.
Stand up.
Yeah.
Stand up. They bought shirts.
Yeah,
Yeah, we ended up, they let us use their parking lot on one of the days that we were doing a block party outside, and so we got to be in their private parking lot. And so Pastor Buddy went in and met Joey, who owns it. He designs the shirts. This is his logo, and I talked to him a little bit about the shirts and the designs, and he said that he likes to employ local artists and people he finds to put things on his shirt, and we saw in the back because. The restaurant there isn't a sit-in one, it's a takeout. But since there were so many of us, they let us sit in the back, which seemed to be their employee area. And you could see the printer that they do the shirts on and the shirts where they make it. So it was really cool. And I think, like you said, every one of us bought 3 or 4 shirts. So I think we definitely chipped in.
It was.
It was great.
There's a coffee shop story there too we won't go into. Okay, this is Big Creek Wednesday night. This was by far our biggest block party. How many registrations? 131 registrations. Yeah. And it's really cool because it looks like we got 4 bounces. This one right here and right there is the same one. But really good. He called and asked very politely if it'd be okay if a fire truck was there. I went, yes! We did that last year. And so they had the fire truck, and you can just tell this is what a block party is all about. Had a good time. I love that picture. Caitlin fell down. And I don't know how the kids got involved with that.
Okay, so they're sisters, and I don't remember their names either. But they were playing at my game, and I asked if I could get a picture with them, and they were like, sure. So I okayed it with Mom first, and I was like, hey, Mom, will you take a picture of us? And so I hand them on the phone, and I step back to and I start to squat down, and one backs up into me, so I end up falling, and then they all fell on top of me, and then the one in my lap just kind of inched into my lap. Aiden saw it, and the other one just kind of leaned down, and it was really cute. But I felt so bad. I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. And I was like, I didn't mean it. And I was just I was really scared because I didn't want the mom to think that I hurt her children or anything.
Well, we can tell what you did for them. We don't get to look behind the curtain very often. But this was at Big Creek, and they were having a good time. I don't even know who took the picture. But this right here is where the curtain is not, and that's me and the pastor there talking, preacher talk, while we're getting ready to set it up. I thought that was interesting. Yeah, the way up there. But that was good. This is the audience there. They had a full gymnasium, this church. And you can see I got a panoramic of it that doesn't do well on the wall, but this was a good one. And there it is. You can get an idea about how big it was. I got to present the gospel every single time we did a show. This was one of the ones that was good. And of course, we don't do an invitation or anything like that. I meant to tell you back to one that we had the difficult time with the puppets and the grass and the wind. That was that outdoor large show. I had their attention better than any other block party I have ever done. And those of you who have been on these trips, I actually prayed with them to trust Christ that day. I said, if you've never done it, and I didn't give an invitation like that, but I rarely pray at these parties because they're waiting for the grand prize, But they were so respectful, so attentive. And these guys right here, you can tell they're listening to him as I'm explaining the gospel as a result from one of my tricks. This guy right here won their flat screen. They had a flat screen and 2 bicycles to give away here and a whole bunch of perfume. Don't know what's up with that. But anyway, he is the brother-in-law of one of the folks that was real involved and knows that he is not a believer and doesn't come to church, but had a pleasant conversation after it's all over about coming to church with the sister-in-law, and she's going to use this as an opportunity to continue to say, God's trying to tell you, get here. So that was interesting. And then, I don't have anybody want to say anything about this block party? Anything else? All right, Sam?
So we came here last year to this church, but we didn't do any parties with them. We just, came to church. And our youth group looked a little different. We had some different people and some people that aren't here. But we went there for Sunday school, and so we went in and we met Angie, and she was awesome. And then coming in this year was really cool because it was the exact same, but they had about twice the youth they had the first time. And I was doing a lot more setup and stuff, so I didn't get a chance to meet their group as much. But our group, I turned around, blinked, and then looked back, and they were already best friends with 3 of the guys.
Yeah, we got pictures.
Zach, Tyler, and Jeremy. And so this was like the last party we did with them. But, they were running games as much as our guys were, and they were, we really almost had to yell at them to get them to leave so we'd go back to the hotel because they just wouldn't stop talking. But that was a good thing, and it was good because if you can meet someone in 3 days, then it's, that's a good skill.
This is definitely the church we connected with the most and will continue to connect with. The pastor and I are very similar, except for the age different. I'm old. So anyway, but buddy. Oh yeah, if we run out of time, we just gotta hurry.
Okay, so since Sam started talking about them, I'm gonna start talking about them.
All right, when I get to their pictures, you can't talk about them.
Okay, that's fine. But so we were all eating under the tent before we started playing the games, and they were Tyler and Zach were standing by themselves, and we asked them to come over. And I am not somebody that will start talking to somebody randomly. And we actually all started having a conversation. It was really good. And then when we met them on Wednesday, that's when we met Jeremy. And they just all kind of clicked into our youth group. And then Thursday night when that comes around, that was even better. And I did not want to leave them because they were a part of us. Okay. And I've still been talking to them, and they're really cool. And yeah.
Yeah. They already got their social media stuff, information. All right, this is the VA Center. We did 2 different shows here. One of them was for the Alzheimer's unit and memory issues, and this one was their lively group. This guy right here, I'll tell you more stories about him, but every trick he challenged. And I blew him away on the last one, just saying. But we had a great time there. And she did, tell me a story.
So when we got to Kentucky on Friday, we went to Walmart and I bought this yarn and started crocheting. And when we got to the last day, I asked one of the nurses who was someone who didn't get any visitors. And this was Mr. William. And we went into his room, me and Zoe, and he wouldn't wake up. I rubbed his arm for a while, but we prayed, and it was a very touching moment for us. So
she made that entire thing the week up there. That's right. Okay, here's where you can't talk. All right, this is 3 or 4 different churches that came together to do a fellowship just for us on Thursday night. It was a beautiful lakeside park. They fed us really, really good, best food of the week. And we playing Frisbee and tossing the football in the same circle, which was a little crazy. And this is afterwards, getting around there, and some of the guys are hanging out, but that's all of the kids sitting there, and there's a guy playing guitar, and I've got video of them singing. And it's fun. It's not the best choral arrangement of what they were doing, but they were doing. And Sam's going to say something anyway?
It's about you. The top right picture, Buddy took that picture, and it was right before he joined our Frisbee and football game. And that's the first time I've ever seen two pastors play Frisbee and football at the same time. So.
yeah, we both were pretty good. Better know that. All right, a happy birthday, and we can't get real sappy on this, but Deanna had a birthday, so we threw a birthday party on her.
That was for Isaiah.
And then Isaiah, which couldn't be here today, he's right there. This was his last event with us. He was at the last mission trip, and he's been with us for a couple, 3 years, hasn't he? Yeah. And so we threw a little goodbye party down there and had a good time. And, okay, we can get by without saying something. Okay, here's the 3 questions, okay? What was the best, your best memory for you? What did you see God use, and how did he change you this week? Okay, answer one of these questions if you got something to say about this.
What?
Anybody? All right, Will?
So, my name's Will again. And last mission trip, I felt like was like the first time I really got close with the church and like God, and started really believing and all that stuff. And this mission trip, I actually got to do a devotional about humility because it was something I'd been thinking about, something I'd been reading, and it was just it was really good because I think that's how he changed me. Is I can now put my faith in him, trust in him, and humbly ask for things. And yeah.
All right. Addie?
Okay, I'm Addie. The best memory for me was when seeing the kids' faces, like when they saw their face paint. It was just really cool because they don't really get to do that a lot. And so just seeing them light up like that was really cool. And even though it didn't really have a lot to do with like Jesus and stuff, it was just like showing kindness and love to them like Jesus would show kindness and love. So that was just really cool.
Hannah?
Okay, so for the one that says, how did you see God use you? So I'm going to like backtrack for a second and try not to
Microphone.
cry. And try not to cry. So at the Bulin Church, where we set everything up and we had to put it in that small basement and everything, we came outside to eat, and I was talking to Pastor Buddy about how I'm very new to this church and my walk with God, and I was talking to Buddy about how I thought that he and Sam and everyone here has changed my life. And Buddy was like, we didn't do that. God did that. And I understood what he was saying, but I didn't, I needed to do more research on it. So when we got back to the hotel, I looked up something, and basically what he was trying to say is that God was working through he and the youth group to get to me and bring me to where I need to be. And that got to happen. I saw that happen through me, through the block parties, and being able to do that for the other kids. And so that's how I saw God use me to be able to do what Buddy and Sam did for me. I'm like shaking.
Anybody else? David?
I got a couple here.
One?
Just one? Okay, we'll just do one. I'll stand back up later.
You talk too much about cards.
Best memory was the drive up there. I know Aiden and Isaiah, he's not here. I knew them from last trip. We kind of got to know each other a little bit, but we really got to know each other through this trip now, and they're pretty much honorary fishers now. They even changed their name tag to say Fisher on it, so they were Fisher boys the whole week. But the drive up there was quite hilarious. We were so loud and joking and laughing. We had to turn the radio off. Even with the windows down, it was still really, really loud. My wife, she was laughing so hard one time, she had to tell everybody to stop. She was going to need to use the restroom. And just as she says that, Buddy comes on the radio, does anyone need to use the restroom?
All right, answer one of these questions.
Okay, so this week changed me a lot. So Thursday afternoon before our party, Buddy called me into the breakfast area, and he asked me about my testimony and where I am with my walk with God. And I said, Buddy, I really don't have one. I didn't grow up in a church. I went to church when I was little, but after my parents split, it just kind of fell off, and it really wasn't in the picture. And so I found myself having all these questions, and I would ask my dad and I'd ask Chris, and the more they would answer, it's like the more I would have. And so my 8th grade year, I joined FCA, just to learn a little bit more and see if some of these questions could be answered. In about 4 or 5 months of FCA, I started doing prayer breakfast, which is this program run out of First Baptist where each school has a day, and we go to Chick-fil-A, and we eat and we pray. And so after that, I kind of joined this church. Well, I haven't joined, but I started coming to this church. And, started coming to Sunday school and then youth group and things like that. And he asked me if I placed my faith in Jesus. And I said, buddy, I haven't. I just feel like I've got all these questions, and I never know when the right time is. And, I want to, but I don't want them to be empty words when I say them. And so Buddy grabbed a napkin, and he held it out to me, and he said, "Have you ever seen me do my rat trap trick?" And I said, "Yes, Buddy, I've seen the rat trap." And he said this napkin represents the rat trap, and which represents you placing your faith in Jesus. And he held his finger out to it like this. And he said, "You are so close to placing your faith in Jesus, you don't even know it." And I said, "Buddy, I'm not ready. I want to, but I don't want these words to be empty words." And so we come back, and I get home, and I went to sleep, and Samar called me and woke me up. And he was just calling to check in, and he was like, if you need any help talking about, whatever you want to say today, for this, just call me and we'll figure something out. And he was just checking in and wanted to, check up on everybody, especially the ones who it was their first mission trip. And after we hung up the phone, I just kind of started thinking and crying mainly. And I was like, if I can do this if I really wanted to. I could place my faith in Jesus if I wanted to. And Samar calling just kind of pushed me to do it. And so I called Buddy and I said, "Buddy, I'm ready to touch the rat trap." And so over the phone, I prayed with Buddy and I placed my faith in Jesus. Carol was there. Buddy gave me a rat trap this morning.
Oh, mercy. I think you can see that this was an eventful week on so many different fronts. And from the working with the churches and the people, Big Creek guys were very precious to us. And in fact, all the churches had a reason to be special to us. But it all comes down to why we were there, to build relationship with the other churches, to help them to reach their community, to encourage them to do that. Then having the conversations with the different kids, especially Caitlin. That's what it's all about. And I want you to know both Caitlin and Hannah both have never been anything like this. And they served the Lord even before placing their faith in Him, faithfully in this. Because that's what it's really about, is our walk with Him on a daily basis, whether we're doing it in Kentucky, what we do in Kentucky. Now, we're not going to have a block party this afternoon, but the way we walk in Kentucky, the way we seek to build relationships is what we want to do here as a lifestyle as well. Most of these get this. And our hope through today is that you are beginning to get this, that this is not a weekly or annual event. This is a lifestyle for each of us every day, seeking to find out one person we can make a difference in their life. And so as we come to this time, and I'm going to, Eric's going to come, and he'll need a microphone. And we're going to sing an invitational hymn. And I'm going to ask you, did something happen this hour that tweaked your heart in deepening your commitment, burdening you for those you know that are not believers, or perhaps even in your own heart to make a decision like Caitlin did, that rat trap works, but its bottom line is just simply placing your faith in Christ and Him alone. Would you bow your heads, please? Lord Jesus, we are so grateful for the opportunity we had to be on this trip. But God, the way you worked there through us changes us. And I thank you, Lord, for the testimonies of all of them, even the ones who did not speak. But Lord, at this moment, give us clarity about a decision. And Lord, if there's somebody here this morning that is just almost ready to place their faith in you, give them the courage, but mostly, Lord, give them the faith to place it in you. Thank you, Lord, for what you're doing amongst us, not just last week, but today and in the days ahead. In the precious name of Jesus, amen. We're going to sing this hymn. It's a little bit different arrangements, but it's Jesus paid it all. Would you stand up? Would you sing with us? And you come. If you have a decision you want to make this morning, you come.
I hear the sinner say, my strength indeed is small. Child of weakness, watch and pray. Find in me thine all in all. Jesus paid it all to Him I owe. Sin had left a crimson stain. He